Today we are supposed to read, but we are not going to read because I see that there's quite a lovely momentum going with this healing of men and healing of women series that I have started. So I just felt maybe let me just complete it. Let us do the women today for the next, I don't know. Looking at my notes, it looks like it might just be a few parts. It might be two, it might be three. We shall see. Because just like the men, why men need to heal and how does a healed man look like? You know, those two videos, which they are still the tip of the iceberg. We haven't even gone deep. But the way you are responding to it, you know, just from the views alone, I know the comments are not so there, although the comments that are coming are actually quite great. I love them. They're deep. You know, it shows that people are interested in this. So I will expand on them. I mean, there's going to come a time where I talk about both of us at the same time. But since we are starting, let me do as I promised, you know, so we have done why men need to heal. So if you haven't watched that video, please watch that. And then what a healed man look like, or what a healing man look like. And like I say, really, it's just a taste. It's just a surface. There's depth, and we will get into the depth as we continue. But also, if you want depth, a lot of my work is private. A lot of my work is on Patreon, as you can see here on the screen. Just join Patreon, and there is a ton of content that is deep, that is healing and spiritual growth and so on, and personal development, if that is what you want. But for the series and for the purposes of YouTube, I will be continuing on these series. And today I want to do why women need to heal. And you know, I remember when I was talking about why men need to heal, I spoke of how I approach the subject with great respect and great reverence for reasons of me not being a man, and just understanding that in as much as I might know what I know, I will not fully understand what it's like to be a man in South Africa, particularly a Black South African man. In as much as I know them, in as much as I interact with them, I can only speak from my point of view and from my perspective. And I hope the little that I've done justice. Now with women, ooh, my word. I thought it would be easy because, I mean, I am a woman myself. I've watched my mother, I've watched my aunts. In my work, in my coaching and teaching work, 95% of my clients are women, are Black women. In my coaching, almost 99%, because men, a lot of men don't come for coaching, but when they do, it's just so amazing. It's women, and I've heard many stories, and I've seen many scenarios. And also many years ago, when I was still very active on Facebook, I used to get a lot of inboxes under the banner We've Got Mail from women who are telling me story after story. So I understand that. But even though I understand that, I did not realize just how intense and how much it would be to prepare for these teachings. Yes, for this 20-minute teaching. And if you know anything about me, my old students know I always just try to go deep, no matter how easy I think something is going to be or how light I feel it will be. I always end up going very deep. So with that, I want to frame this teaching from the same point of view that I framed the male ones, the men one. That is, as South African Black women, we carry a lot of trauma. We carry a lot of trauma from our ancestors, from the colonial era, even maybe even further, colonial era, and obviously lately, the latest being the apartheid era. And anything that has happened to your bloodline, your female line, is still living within you. We still carry the pain and the torture and the lack of freedom and the lack of movement and the oppression that our ancestors, mothers, great grandmothers, great grandmothers experienced under the oppression. So there's a lot of pain that comes from there. There's also a lot of pain that comes from the betrayal from our men, from the men, the Black men themselves. There is a betrayal that sort of that we carry, and that betrayal comes not necessarily from the man's fault necessarily. In other words, colonialism and apartheid made men disappear. Colonialism and apartheid and economic oppression and the pressure, you know, from the system for our men to go to the cities and to dig gold and leaving homes. And I say we, I'm talking from an ancestral point of view, and leaving our homes and leaving women to fend for themselves. That pain that our great grandmothers carried, our grandmothers carried, our mothers carried, it still lives in us. And it shows up in many ways, which I have listed here. I've listed about 8 things, and we all know that I'm not going to get to 8 today. So this might just be a few parts. It might probably be about 3, maybe 4 parts. And I want to begin. So you see, that is where I want you to look at it. When we talk why women need to heal, heal from what? Heal from that. Heal from the colonial oppression, heal from the pain and trauma that our mothers have experienced. And I'm speaking, about something as recent as colonialism. Maybe there's even further, beyond that, maybe. But I want you to appreciate that that's where I would like us to look at it from. I don't want us to look at it from the surface that, I need to heal from a cheating husband, or I need to heal from being beaten up by my boyfriend. Yes, those are part of it. But the reason we are unable to heal is because we are not starting at the beginning. We are not starting at the root cause, if you like. So I want to just give you a taste of how far the rabbit hole goes. And when you embark on your healing journey, you embark knowing that this is what we're dealing with. I also, before we start, I want to address something around healing that there seems to be a healing fatigue, especially around us women. We are fatigued about, hey, healing this, healing this. Hi, I'm tired of healing. Actually, you can't be tired of healing because we haven't actually begun. We really have not begun. I think we are tired of not getting to the root cause and not understanding what it actually takes to do this healing work that we are talking about, what it actually means. And I will refer back to Nolita, my friend Nolita, who said to me, perhaps our role, the generation of our role, I mean, the mission of our generation. What did I say? The generation of our role. The, Ms. Kanake Mangfanon said every generation has a mission, and theirs, and I'm butchering it, I know, and theirs is either to fulfill it or betray it. And the mission of the 1956 women, and we are approaching August now, the mission of the 1956 women was to say, no way. There is absolutely no way. We are tired of being oppressed. We are tired of our movement being restricted. We are tired of sitting here not knowing what's what. We want to move. We want to fend for ourselves. We want freedom. We want to be strong. We want to show you that we are strong. And you'll remember also in 1956, the feminist movement in the West had already sort of taken shape. So it was that wave, it was that energy in the air of feminism that was catching, that caught our mothers. It's not even our mothers, it's our grandmothers. It's not even our grandmothers. I think it's our great grandmothers, because when in 1956, my mother was 2 years old, which means my grandmother was around 20, because my grandmother had my mom in her teens as well. It's not even our grandmothers. But are old. They're our great grandmothers. So when they stood up, they were almost the first feminist, even though they didn't call it that, just standing up and say, enough, enough is enough. So that was their mission. And that wave brought about the Mbogotos, my mother's generation, my grandmother's generation, Kiri Mbogoto. They could hold a home because now they were dealing with what? They were dealing with men leaving home now to go and work in the mines, to go and work in the factories, to go and work in these capitalistic spaces. And the women were left to fend for themselves. I mean, I literally witnessed that. My grandmother, who lived in Swaziland, we used to visit every December. I mean, I talk about this all the time, every chance I get. And Mkulu was in the city. Mkulu was in Joburg, working in logistics, in transport system, in the bus, nabereka ku Patco. And every December, abehle besehla sonke with Mkulu and go and be with. But what is the grandmother doing? The grandmother is raising the children. And so they then became the Mbogotos, those women. They lived in Mbogoto, and they gave birth to our mothers, who also became Mbogotos, or they raised our mothers who also had a Mbogoto touch, even more so because our mother's generation then also started now getting education, getting educated. You started seeing your first generation matriculants, your first generation degrees, maybe not a lot, but it started there. And then, us. So it is in the blood, it is in the pathology, this whole thing of women carrying quite a lot. I did not think I'll go this far, but yes, this is a framing I want to use. And I want to touch on, or maybe let me list, and I will list it this time, because with the main video, I said I'm going to list and I never listed. Let me list the points that I want to make. And then maybe for today's video, for the sake of sticking to the 20 minutes, 20-ish minutes, I will maybe touch on 2 or maybe 3, and then the next video will continue. All right. So we need then to heal from all of that. And I've categorized it as to how it manifests and what exactly is it that we need to heal, how it shows up, and what the healing looks like. What healing looks like will be a completely separate video. It's not going to be done now. So right now I am just showing what we need to heal from. And number 1, I'm going to start with the most potent one. We need to heal from our unspoken anger. Maybe it's spoken these days, but our unspoken anger towards the Black men. We are ragingly angry. And I'm not saying we're now on my missing video as an individual, because you're going to say, no, I'm not angry. I'm saying collectively. Remember when no woman is healed until all women are healed. I think it's Dr. Maya Angelou who said that. And women, by their very nature, don't heal in isolation. This is why it took 20,000 plus for them to walk to the union building. We are a collective thing. Femininity is about community, collectivity, connection, and the group. You know, it's not very individual like masculinity, which I will obviously touch on feminine qualities as well. Maybe not in this video, maybe when the video of how then to be healed. So our collective unspoken and maybe slightly spoken anger towards men. So that's one. We need to heal from that. We need to heal from hyper independence, which obviously stems from that. So it's a manifestation. We need to heal from hyper independence, the strong Black woman syndrome, the superwoman syndrome. So that's part of the hyper independence. We need to heal from that. And I'll tell you why we need to heal from it. We also need to heal from over functioning. This is the third, because I forget to also number things. We need to heal from over functioning. And by over-functioning, I'll unpack it when I do it. I'm just listing right now. We need to heal from the emotional neglect that we experience almost on the daily. Women are emotionally starved, or emotional care starved. We are not well taken care of emotionally, which is why we gravitate towards each other. But there is a particular emotional care, which I spoke about when I did the videos for the men, being safe in the container of the masculinity, for our emotions to be honored and to be seen and to be acknowledged. We are starving. We are emotionally absolutely starved. And I know someone is feeling me because I'm feeling it. So we need to heal from that. And also, most men, our generation, and maybe even younger, have never seen their mother's emotional vulnerability. They've never seen their mother really vulnerable, unless obviously it was a case where the mother was being beaten up by the father, in which case they would stand up and and protect the mom, and the mom would also just remain strong. The mbogotos, those mbogotos, those mbogotos. So it then becomes very difficult for a man that you and I are dating, you and I are seeing, to then respond to the soft me, the vulnerable me. They don't know what to do with it. They don't know what to do with it. So we need to heal from that. And as we heal, in one of the videos, I think in one of the teaching videos earlier, you can scroll down, I just don't remember the title. I spoke of how when a woman heals, a man almost automatically heals. So it's the same, it's a yin yang. When a man heals, a woman heals. But when a woman heals more specifically, which I'll get to why, the man automatically follows suit. It's either the man that you are seeing, that you live with, heals with you, or he falls off. You are no longer a vibrational match. You are no longer in the same frequency because you are healing. You are no longer trauma bonded by your equal pain. We need to heal from number 5. We need to heal from the transactional relationship with men. This whole the provider thing. And this also stems from the anger that we have. We need to heal from that. And I'm not saying that don't expect a man to provide necessarily. I'm not necessarily saying that. I'm going to unpack it nicely for you. But we need to heal from strictly looking at relationships with men as transactional. It's almost like, what did I say here? It's almost like underneath it, at the core of it, we want to be paid for the pain that we endured, this ancestral pain. So I think the insistence that a man must, indoda must have money, nakanjani. It's almost like pay me for the pain, pay me for the emotional neglect, pay me for me having to be hyper independent, pay me for being a single mom, pay me for all this that we've had to carry over the years, pay me for being a superwoman. Are you with me, somebody? Yeah, connected somewhere. So it's almost like we prefer to be compensated. So we'd rather be compensated than to connect. We'd rather, which is why we have things like, "Hey, I'd rather cry in a golf estate than go Alexandra, or I'd rather cry driving a Range Rover." Oh, the things we say on social media. We say, "I'd rather cry driving a Range Rover than driving a Tez," or something like that. So those sentences or those statements might seem innocent, but they are deep. They're deep. They're talking of a deep, deep grief. So, those are the things I want to touch on. I don't know. Let me see. Let me read them. Overfunctioning, our unspoken anger towards men, hyper independence, emotional neglect, transactional relationships with men. And yeah, I mean, I thought I had more. I thought I had more, but maybe it's because I'm compounding them. And so that's what I want us to heal from. And I know there's two more. I just don't know where I wrote them. You see, I'm writing them in my own notebook. I'm not sure where I put them, but those are the things that I would like us to start healing from, and how that healing is going to look like, and what is it going to do, and why should we heal. Maybe let me talk to why should we heal. We need to heal because we need to fix African families. We need to fix our families. And by fixing families, I'm not saying that we need to get married and go back in time and try and be housewives and stay home moms. I'm not saying that. If that's what you want, that's what you can do. But we need to heal so that we have better relations with men. We need to fix what was broken all those many years ago. I was listening to my favorite YouTuber. I'm sure you know who I'm gonna say. I was I was listening to Penuel, with Penuel. I think he was also talking to Nhlanhla Lux on that video, and another young lady called Zola. And they were talking about how we need Black families to thrive. And they mentioned something that just struck a nerve with me, that, there's everybody's rights. There's the children's rights. We live in a South Africa that has children's rights, nothing wrong with that. Women's right, nothing wrong with that. But there's no family rights. It's almost like it's deliberately divisive. The system is deliberately dividing Black families so that there is no unity. When Black families are strong and they have values and they follow certain systems, whether you're a single household mom, single mom, or you are mommy and daddy in the house, there are values that you follow, the values that you instill in children, the things that you begin to talk about, that there's something that you're building. So when a family is healed, even if it's not a family where it's a married couple, you find that when families heal, even the extended family, some form of structure begins to come back again. Roles like Rakgadi, Rangwane, Malume, Mamncane, Mamkhulu become really meaningful. They're not just an aunt or an uncle, as in the Western way. Because in the Western way, when you say uncle, really, what does it mean? In fact, most Western people don't even consider second cousins family. Even cousin is sort of, at arm's length. We don't have such things. So there is a lot of Black family healing that needs to happen. And I'm telling you now, it begins with us as individuals healing. It begins with us as a collective, as women healing, and as men individually and the collective healing. And we will go back and we'll try. And is this going to happen in the next 5 years? Maybe not, but we need to begin. And this is why I'm dedicating a lot of time in, teaching this both privately on my Patreon. Please join there if you need deeper stuff. And, it looks like this is what my YouTube is going to be about. I will still read from my memoir, but I will go with what the viewers want. So far, when we look at the back of my YouTube, the behind the scenes, the videos where I'm teaching are the ones that, seem to be loved the most. So that's what I will do. With that, let me conclude it here. And the next video, which will be tomorrow, because, I'm sure the appetite is there now. I will bring the next video tomorrow and we'll touch on the first three things on why we need to heal that, how it shows up in your life, and how do you heal it. Okay, I'll see you then tomorrow. And this is my story. I cannot wait to hear yours. Speaking of, I cannot wait to hear yours. Please comment with questions. Please comment with suggestions of what direction you want me to go. And I always listen. There's a question, beautiful question I received around ways of providing from one of you. How are the other ways that men can provide? I will create that video. It will be nice and short, maybe 6 to 8 minutes, so that I address that question only. And going forward, I will have a segment where I'm just answering your questions. So thank you for your engagement and thank you for being here. If you're new and you just stumbled upon this, please like, please subscribe, and yeah, comment, say something, say hi, and I'll meet you there on the comments. Now, proper goodbye. This is my story. I cannot wait to hear yours.